everybody. We are live. Happy Monday. What a great start to a week. We've got a special guest today, Liz Zantopulos. Correct,
You got
Liz?
it. You got it.
Okay, good. Awesome. Liz is going to be our photographer spotlight presenter today. She is a senior photographer out of Ohio, and you're going to hear much more about
today. We are going to be talking about reaching Gen Z and how to attract and inspire seniors. And guys, I absolutely love working with seniors. I am a practical details kind of person, so I hope you truly can just walk away with some practical tips that you can implement in your business today. That is always my end goal. So if you have any questions, of course, put them in the questions tab and we'll get to them at the end. But let me introduce myself first in case you do not know me. So, hi, I'm Liz. Nice to meet you guys. I am a mom to a 5-year-old and 2-year-old twins. Actually, he just turned 6. And my 2-year-old twins are going to be turning 3 in a couple months. I am a wife to a wonderful man of, 8 years. And I started in weddings in 2011, and then I transitioned to seniors in 2016. It's fun fact about me is that I actually didn't like photographing seniors at the beginning. And it was honestly because I didn't have the right tools to equip me with understanding how to photograph seniors and who to market to. So there was a big shift when I transitioned to seniors, and it has to do with my family and my journey of self-love. And it kind of transitioned me into understanding how I wanted to love on other people. And I realized that seniors needed to hear this message. So I stumbled into seniors, and now I'm absolutely obsessed. I love working with my girls and some boys, but a lot of girls, I'm not gonna lie. And then obviously I'm a self-love advocate. Y'all do not say anything negative in front of me. Like, you can ask any friends, family, all my girls. You don't go like, oh, I'm so bad. I'm like, no ma'am, no ham, no turkey. We're not doing that today. So yeah, I just love embracing people and uplifting them. And I just think it's a big part of my business. And I think that it should be a little bit, at least a little bit, in everybody's business, especially when you're working with this upcoming generation. So anyways, by the way, I also am a talker. I'm just going to warn everybody now. I'm a talker. I can hear my ops manager laughing in the side here. So what is on today's agenda? So we know we are going to be learning a bit about Gen Z, the practical nitty-gritty things about Gen Z that you need to know. We're going to be talking about how to use that knowledge to market and bring in your senior clients. We're going to talk about the core content to connect with your audience and Gen Z, basically, and then how self-love can transform your business and beyond. So that is on our agenda today, okay? So what do we know about Gen Z, friends? What have you learned about Gen Z? Does anybody actually, I would love to hear this too in the comments, because I'm going to check. What do you know about Gen Z? What do you feel like you have learned about Gen Z as you started working with seniors? Or if maybe you have kids that are Gen Z, like, what do you know about them? We'll come back to that because I'm totally curious. I'm going to share some tips of things that I have learned about Gen Z just from researching things and running the business that I run. So Gen Z, I'm going to go over, honestly, I could go over a lot of points, but I want to go over these 3 big points today. So let's learn a little bit about Gen Z, guys. And also, I'm going to pull up my notes to make sure that I don't go off topic, because I tend to do that, y'all. Okay, so 1, Gen Z statistically wants to work with companies that have a tie-in with deeper meaning. They like companies that give back and have purpose and value you. I don't know about you guys, but if you have been on any type of social media platform, this is something that's very apparent. Because if you look at these upcoming popular brands and you look at what they revolve around, a good example is Aerie. If anybody has Aerie is a bralette company. They make sportswear. They make just a couple different things honestly, they target mainly towards Gen Z and probably younger millennials. And it's all about self-love and feeling good in your skin and having untouched images. And when they started into that, Aerie truly exploded to the point that they opened up their own stores because it just took off. And so it's like a good example of a brand to show you that they tied in with something deeper. And with the self-love movement that is going forward, which I absolutely love, it really connects with Gen Z. Gen Z also loves repurposing things, being better for the planet. So thinking about these things, it's a good idea to think about, how can I implement this into my business? How can I put this into my business and connect with these people? So, AKA, you need to be showing value now more than ever, and find a way to communicate with your ideal client through a deeper meaning or giving more of a purpose than just photos, because they need more than just photos. Okay. Point number 2, Gen Z hates being sold to. So connecting with them in an authentic way is the key to a booming business. Y'all, I don't know about you, but I do not like the cheesy Carsman sale methods. It's just not my vibe. And that is really, really what Gen Z is against. Even to the point, if you guys look at TikTok, for example, TikTok has been exploding. You will see big brands using TikTok videos as their advertisements. There's a reason why, because it looks more authentic. It is more authentic. When it's in touch with something real, they connect with that more. So instead of like, I mean, you can put emoji and raise your hand. Who's guilty of getting on their social media and only posting, oh my gosh, I have 5 dates left for the year. Book with me, book with me, book with me. If you stick with just saying, hey guys, book with me. Hey guys, only have a handful of days left. Hey guys, I have, a special going on. If you focus on that surface level, you're selling and you're not connecting. And Gen Z does not like that. So if you feel like you're stale in your marketing, or you slow down and you don't bring in inquiries, maybe look at that. Instead of looking at, well, maybe it's my price, because I know a lot of people do that. Look at, how are you connecting with these people? Are you just trying to sell? And my big key phrase, I always say, serve over sell. How are you serving your clients over selling to your clients? Because when you serve to your clients, you naturally bring more people to your door. So anyways, okay. Number 3, they are growing up in the video era. Consuming video content is taking precedence over images. So that is what they're paying attention to the most, right? Friends, raise your hand if you're on TikTok. I hope so. If you're not, you need to get on TikTok, especially if you're working with Gen Z. There is a reason Instagram is pushing Reels. This generation is so video heavy, it naturally is the next step, which means if you haven't jumped on the video train yet, then you better start. And before I move on from that, I just want to talk about that just a wee bit. Guys, I know sharing your face on social media can be really scary sometimes. So there are little bits and pieces of ways of working your way into that, whether it's sharing a video and writing text and pointing to it, or sharing a behind the scenes video of you working with a client and putting it together. There's different ways to do that without just getting on and showing your face. So I recommend, if you are really scared about video, work your way into it. Try these little videos, look up Reels and TikToks of what people are doing and examples, just to get your ideas going. If you want to start with something small and work your way into showing your face, because I know that can be scary sometimes. So anyways, okay. So what does this all mean? What are some of these big important things? What does this mean? The way you show up on social media matters. Between your presence, what you say, and creating video content that connects with points we chatted about in the slide before. If you want to bring clients through the door, you need to stop looking at what people your age might be doing, and instead focus on what your seniors are, the way your seniors are communicating every day. Think about, this generation is more social than ever. And we think, well, no, they're always on their phone, but this is how they're connecting. This is how they're communicating. So when you show up on social media, you're showing up as you. You're showing up as a part of yourself. So small businesses these days, it can't just be surface level. It can't be business only. You truly stand out from the crowd when you showcase who you are and what matters, and when you solve your clients' problems. Which goes to number 2, down to your mission statement, products and captions. You need to be displaying a deeper meaning and connection. Deeper connections are key. Remember, they like brands that have a connection with something more. And when you emotionally tie with someone, you remember that person over everyone else. Over everyone else. I don't know about y'all, but I can think of people, even strangers in my life, where I met for 5 minutes and the emotional connection I have with them, like I think about it till this day. So think about those things. And if you have not made a mission statement, please and thank you. Time to make that mission statement. My house manager is laughing at me over here. Because when you create something of deeper value and meaning and put it into a mission statement, and then you can follow that mission statement into your Instagram, into your TikTok, into your website. And then you can always guide back to, is this aligning with my brand? Is this aligning with my goals of how I want to connect with my clients? So you need to display deeper meaning and connection, and you need to be showcasing this across all platforms. All right. I love this quote, and it kind of ties in with this as well. Brands that stand out from the competition are purposefully disruptive or different. Bernard Clive. I'm going to sip a drink real quick. So I want to share a little story on this. When I got out of high school, my husband and I wanted to move in together before we were married, and I hunted for a job so that would pay me well enough so we could afford a good place, all that goodness. After several interviews, I landed a job with T-Mobile. Okay. Back when I worked for T-Mobile, it was not as good as it is today. Their service was iffy, but they just had a huge change, and they just hired on a new CEO, John Ledger. And if you do not know who John Ledger is, you need to look him up, because he is a great example of a brand and how to transform your business. Okay. So I'm going to explain a little bit what happened. And I think this is a great example to look at your brand and to look at connecting with your clients. So the first month after being hired, they changed the entire layout of how phones were being sold. At the time, you were required to have a 2-year contract with a cell phone company every time you got a phone. I don't know if anybody remembers ever going through that, but that was the norm. Everybody had a 2-year contract. So John decided to throw that idea out the window, and he said, there's no contracts when you sign with T-Mobile. Instead, you have payments on your phone, and you can pay it off at any time. So he just adjusted things. He looked at things differently and decided, hey, I know no one's doing this, but I'm going to throw this out there because I'm listening to my clients and this is what they're wanting, right? So we had a big swarm of people coming in after this announcement. And the idea was something to get used to because it wasn't something anyone's ever done, but it took off. And about 6 months later, AT&T, Sprint, Verizon eventually started adopting the same method. Within 3 years that I worked there, they also started buying people out of their contracts if they wanted to come to T-Mobile, and gave the option to upgrade your phone every 6 months and completely changed the work environment so employees loved working there. T-Mobile changed the mobile industry as we know it. So the reason I'm sharing this story is because they looked at their clients, they solved a deeper problem, and they started connecting with what they wanted instead of listening to what the rest of the world was doing. And sometimes we need to stop thinking, oh my gosh, well, what's working for everybody else? What is everybody else doing? And just look at our clients, because we tend to overthink marketing and we think everything's going to work. But when you work with a certain clientele, Gen Z, if you work with the older generation, so on and so forth, marketing is completely different, right? So that's something to think about. Brands that stand out from the competition are personally disruptive and different. How can you be different in your business? How can you stand out from the crowd? And how can you tie that in with a deeper meaning, right? So knowing about that, how do we connect with Gen Z? That story ties in with having a brand that's worth talking about, right? How are you spilling the tea about who's spilling the tea about your business when you're not around? What is making you stand out that gives you a deeper meaning to your clients? Think about those things. And so this is a good connection of why I love to connect with self-love in my business. And I'll share a little bit about that a little later. But I highly recommend after this video or whenever you can, sit down and brainstorm. What makes your brand worth talking about? What are people talking about when you're outside the room? Is it a collective same thing? Are they saying, oh my gosh, I love this person because this, and this. I love their dance videos. I love dancing, fun fact. So you'll see that on social media a lot for me, things like that. Are all your things tying together and connecting so that you are hitting the same clientele every single time? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to y'all. Okay. 2, revolve your business around solving clients' problems using video content. Your clients are visual now more than ever with Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, all these platforms exploding in the past years. This is time to showcase your connection and a deeper meaning through behind the scenes enjoy and give them an experience they truly connect with. And I am going to, by the way, talk about some ways to create video content. So I won't leave you hanging, guys. I promise. Okay. And then the third one, connecting with Gen Z, show up in your full you-ness. Once I started showing up as me and how I connected with my clients and started embracing who I am, I brought out a connection in my clients that I've never seen before. Your clients want to connect with you. And if you are working with a young generation that is about to go out into the world, I think giving them the tools to understand how much they should love themselves can truly give your business the drive you've never seen before. And you will be making a positive impact in these kids' lives. Something to think about. So, a few brainstorming questions to get your brains thinking on this topic. Why do you love photographing seniors? How can you connect with that in your marketing? Do you love their fashion sense? Was high school weird for you and you want them to have a different experience? Think about that. Let me pop up the chats real quick. I'm going to pull up the chats here. What in high school was weird for you? Does anybody have a story, or they're like, hey, I don't know about y'all, but I was not a talker in high school and I was shy and I thought I was worried about what everybody else thought. And fun fact, every senior I talk to does have that worry. Oh, I'm slightly worried about what people think about me. How can I connect that back into my business? Think about those things. See if there's any connections in the chat box, right? Number 2. Oh, well, and by the way, oops, sorry, hold on. Guys, showcasing your passion for your business, and then like when you showcase why you love what you do and you showcase being vulnerable and showcasing saying, hey, I get things are weird. This is how I'm solving that problem. This is how I'm making you feel good in the skin that you're in. Your clients will see that and they get excited with you. So think about those things. And then, okay, what tricks and tips and tricks can you help share with your clients to grow and connect with you and help them embrace themselves? No matter who you are, I can honestly say we have all struggled with our own image at one point or another. When you connect with your clients by giving them the tools to not only show up, but to give them the tools to shoot confidently and give them the tools to love their life, and by loving themselves, I would say there's no better marketing tool than that, right? So let's say you write all these ideas down and you say, well, Liz, okay, I have all these ideas, but how am I getting this content out there? What do I need to do to get in front of these seniors? So let's break this into a process, a practical process, okay? 4-step process. Keep this simple, right? 1, get involved in your ideal clients' activities to get notice. Guys, get out there. Go visit dance teams, band camp, football games, cheer competitions, school plays. There are so many ways to get involved with your local schools. And when you give before taking, you open up the door to connect authentically with your crowd. And they are so insanely word of mouth heavy. And I know people are probably going to ask this question. Well, Liz, like, don't you want to connect with the parents? Yes, you connect with the parents by taking care of the seniors, because the senior is the one driving the decision. Gen Z actually is the deciding factor when it comes to reaching out to you. You want them excited, because when they're excited, those parents are naturally like, oh, they're so excited. I want to give this to them. I want to help them. And they're more excited to work with you. So focus more on the seniors. That's my little tip on there. But yes, get involved with them. I know that was a little side rant there, but get involved with your clients' activities. If you don't know how, literally look at local games, show up, start photographing stuff, hand out cards and say, hey guys, I took some photos of the game if you want something like that. Don't share them on social media because you don't have the permission to share them, but that way they can connect with you and learn more about you and say, oh, well, hey, that person that took those photos, I really liked those. I'm going to reach out to them. Think about those things, guys. Reach out to the dance studio. Say, hey, do you guys need photos for your most recent dance competition? Think about ways, guys. If you do not ask, the answer will always be no. So get involved with your ideal client activities. Okay. 2, be consistent in your social media by sharing behind the scenes tips and tricks and showing your face. And I, by the way, I'm going to share some of my go-tos for behind the scenes to help you guys out. But remember, you are not the main character of this story. They are. So showcasing their importance is vital, while also showing how you interact with them and connect with them. That is all a top priority, because it's here's the example I love to use, y'all. You do not go house shopping and you show up to the curb and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the one. I love it. I love the shutters. We're buying this one, without stepping in. No, ma'am, no ham, no turkey. We don't do that, right? We go in. We imagine where we would put our furniture, what the walls we would paint. Oh, I could bake cookies with the kids here, so on and so forth. We're imagining our life there. And that's what you're doing when you're sharing social media and sharing these girls and making them the hero. Girls or boys. I should say men or women, because you are giving them an idea of what a visual representation of what their session could be like. So you're giving them that connection. You're giving them those ideas of what it can be like. And you're showing your face so that they can warm up to you to want to work with you. So being consistent with that is such a big key, guys. And remember, they're word of mouth heavy. So if you're being consistent with that and you're showcasing their friends and then they post it on social media, that friend might go over to your page and like, oop, I know this person. I know this person, which is why it is so important to be consistent. They want to see people that you've recently worked with, not people that they've never seen 4 years ago. So be consistent with your social media. Like, I cannot say that enough. Okay. 3, I almost said 2, tagging your clients and interacting with them virtually. Guys, these ladies share their friends' pictures on their birthday. They connect by having dance parties and staying up to date on trends with TikTok trends and different things like that. They use voice virtually to connect with their tribe. So when you use their language to communicate, you are going to get noticed. That makes sense? Emojis like raise the roof, what else? Guys, tag your clients and interact with them. If you tag them, fun fact, and then you go and you interact with their account, their friend's account, oh my gosh, this is the person that did this person. Oh my gosh, I got to tell my mom so that I can work with them. You are creating connections virtually, and that is how they communicate. So that is so dang important. Okay. 4, give an astounding experience. The experience matters more than it ever has before, friends. If you notice, this is also why they don't like marketing. They don't want shallow, they want deeper. So this is why the experience is so important, because this market is extremely word of mouth heavy. So when you give a wonderful experience, these girls will be sharing all about you. Give them something to talk about. And remember, like, you are giving them experience and they feel that. They will remember the feelings more than anything else. And they're going to go home and be like, oh my God, look at this. And then if you have social media to back it up, they can share that and then share with their friends. I'm just saying, hint, hint, wink, wink. Okay. So give an astounding experience. Now let's jump back to point number 2 real quick, because I want to talk a little bit about sharing behind the scenes and all that. Sharing behind the scenes, they want to see, okay? This is a vital part of personally how I grew my business organically. Using behind the scenes has been such a major part that I have people coming up to me in my area being like, oh my gosh, you're Elisabeth Ann Photography. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. I want to work with you when I'm a senior. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thanks. I'm just the person that hasn't showered for 2 days, but I appreciate you. Mom life, hashtag mom life. But they love seeing the behind the scenes. They love being a part of the story. So here's a couple ways to think about this. Have a questionnaire before the session and learn about what type of photos they like. Do they like smiling photos? Do they like close-ups? Maybe they like big landscape photos. Share stuff they want to see for behind the scenes, for their sneak peeks, things like that, right? 2, what does their Instagram feed look like? Are they fashion forward? And might they want like a bit of a creative edge? Are they smiling, bubbly, and always show that? And fun tip about this, I ask those questions in their questionnaire before they work with me so that I know what I'm looking for to share on social media and to share with them so that I do IPS. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, that's in-person sales, but it gives them the connection to where they truly love those photos and they want to put those up on the wall. So think about that. Think about that. And they're going to want to showcase and share those ones on social media. I don't know about you. Has anybody ever had a senior session or a session where they don't share any of the photos? That's so disheartening and discouraging. My recommendation to that is learn more about your client to know what kind of photos they want to share, right? Learn about your clients before you photograph them, which is that next point. Learn about your clients, guys. Find ways to connect with them before you reach out, like before you actually have their session. I personally spend an hour with them before their session during warm-up time while they're getting hair and makeup done to talk with them and to warm them up, to make them like just feel fun and flirty and all that. I have the questionnaire. I talk to them like 3 other times in person before my clients actually meet me. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but I am saying that you need to make sure to get that vital information from them and learn about them and not just take it as, oh, I'm just doing their photos. Dig deeper, friends. Okay. And then use current methods like boomerangs or slow-mos that they want to share. And I'm going to share my behind the scenes workflow, a little bit of what I do. Guys, use the tools that Instagram and TikTok have given you. If they have stuff that's like a slow-mo, or if you want to do something with a boomerang, they share that content. That's how they communicate. That's what they share. So share that on your platform. Share who you're photographing that day, scenery of where you're shooting, do a slow-mo, before and after, iPhone image versus camera, you chatting with a client, showing a good time. Y'all, I have a whole, if anybody wants to see on one of my reels, I have me making my wild noises. One of my friends made a joke, said they wanted to make it like a ringtone because I make crazy noises when I'm photographing these girls. So showing that, again, is getting these girls like, oh my gosh, she's fun to work with. I want to work with that person, right? Photo of you photographing them, outfit changes, boomerang with them or just of them, videos of you creating your favorite images. Guys, take all this stuff and show it after the session. And friends, if you're like, well, Liz, I don't want to post it during, don't post it during. Just take it. Hey, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Take it, put the phone away. Let them know beforehand. That way they're prepared. And when they get used to it and they see their friends do that, they expect it and they get excited for it. Some of my girls like asked me to send them all of them so that they can post them on Snapchat afterwards. Like, it's a great marketing tool and it's a free marketing tool, friends. They love that. So use it, use it, use it, use it, use it. Okay. I cannot say that enough. Woo. Okay. Can you tell I'm getting fired up about this, y'all? Whew. Okay. So that is just a little bit of behind the scenes of workflow that what I do. And guys, then you can use that content later to make reels, to make marketing content. If you want to put a longer video together, if you want to be like, hey, sessions are open for the year, and then you have a long video of all the fun times you had throughout the year. Guys, this is a great marketing tool and a great way to use your video content. So I'm giving you these tools so that you can create that for your business without having to come up with something new every single time. Use it, use it, use it, okay? And as I said before, this method has worked for bigger companies. Advertisements are now showing TikTok videos for people using products to show real examples instead of fake stage marketings, right? Marketing. Guys, I cannot stress this enough, how behind the scenes can be a huge part of your business to connect with your clients. Not to mention it gives you a load of content you can share later, which is fantastic, right? So remember this. I get asked a lot about this, okay? So how you make your clients feel is everything. So if you want them to connect and feel comfortable with you, then you need to learn how to be comfortable with yourself. I get asked a lot about how I created such a booming senior business, guys. In the past several years, like I've exploded. I have an office and I am the sole income of my household. But all that comes back to the fact that I learned to love myself and I gave myself permission to be myself and showcase that to the world. And that's how I connected with my clients. When you give permission to be yourself, it opens up the door for others to do the same. And how can we give these seniors confidence to want to work with us when we hide behind our cameras, when we only give them the option of, these girls are really nervous to work with us. They don't feel confident in themselves. So giving them that tool and understanding that you can help them feel that way it's going to be transformative for your business. I want to share a little bit about that myself, of where that started with me. When I started into seniors, I was just kind of confused on how do I connect with these people? And I felt like I was the same as everybody else. I hid behind the camera. I didn't like showcasing who I was as a person. And then we started having issues with my oldest. He wasn't talking yet, and it was way past due time. And we went to the doctor after several appointments and getting him into therapy. We found out he was diagnosed with autism. During that time, I realized that I wanted him to know that he was amazing for who he was. And I didn't want him to change to society's standards just because society said this is the way it's supposed to be. I wanted him to embrace who he was as a person. And I realized that if I wanted him to do that, I wasn't doing a very good job of showcasing that. So I started learning about myself and understanding why do I feel uncomfortable showcasing who I am. And I posted my first dance video on Instagram right when stories became a thing. And it exploded. And it was just me having fun dancing because I loved it. And it was just me unapologetically being me. And I started connecting with all these girls. I started having messages of people saying, I love you. And I usually don't share this about myself, but I feel okay to share this with you. And I started unintentionally stumbling into a business where I could connect with these girls and give them a deeper purpose of understanding self-confidence so they could go out into the world and slay. So guys, at the end of the day, you need to learn to love yourself and accept yourself and understand how to do that so that you can teach it to this younger generation. Cannot describe how important that is. Okay, to wrap this up, because I want to make sure we have enough time for questions. Where to find me, guys? Here is my website, my Instagram, TikTok shop. I am going to have a link up later in my Instagram, so make sure to follow a link in my bio that I will have a discount on my shop. I go over marketing tools, how to start a business, an easy start to IPS guide, all that jazz. So please feel free to look into any of that. Or if you have any questions, just seriously reach out to me on Instagram. I'm not joking. I'm on there almost 24/7. I will be at a conference next week, so I will not be on there 24/7, but I always check my messages every day. So please feel free to jump on. And with that being said, I'm going to stop sharing this. If everybody wants to take a picture of that, you're more than welcome to. By the way, y'all like my wild hair with that photo? I'm tempted to put the green back in my hair. I freaking loved it. Green's my favorite color. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing here, pull you guys up, and we can start into a little bit of Q&A time. So let me pull up the chat first because I want to make sure there's nothing I missed. I love the silly faces, guys. They're way ahead of makeup, hair, and selfies. You know what? On top of that, sorry, guys, I will answer questions, but I wish I had tutorials on how to do makeup. Y'all, I did not look that way in high school. I had to learn how to do this on my own. It's easier to stand out at 5 competitors instead of 500. Your ideas need to be very, very different. I tend to disagree with that, actually. There's tons of people in my area and tons of people that show that active, wild, fun vibrancy that I show. But because I am a different person, you and I are different, Ed, that's what makes your business different. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to put you into the business and care about your clients. If you do that, you will be to the next level. I made a $7,400 sale this week, which still blows my mind, by the way. And guys, I don't think I have the best work ever. It's because I know that if I connect with my clients, that I give them a reason to want to work with me. They had no problem with that at all. I wasn't expecting that sale or anything. So guys, don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. If you connect with your clients, go back to the core content in your business, which is caring for your clients, solving your clients' problems, and serving over selling, you will hit the next level naturally. Okay? Just a fun fact. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no, which I love saying that. And my girls make jokes about it because I'm like, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, thanks for nice tattoos. Thank you. I have quite a few. All of them mean something too. So, okay. Questions, guys. Do you ever get in touch with the underage potential clients via social media channels before talking to parents? Let me say that again because I mumbled that up. Do you ever get in touch with the underage potential clients via social channels before talking to parents? Yes, I do. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is a little different because Instagram made it to where if that client's not following you, they cannot answer or you cannot message them on social media. And personally, what I like to do before was reach out to them and say, hey, I really like your style and vibe. I'd like to connect with you. And if you are interested, give me your parents' info so that we can reach out. Asking for that right away can really give it that non-creepy vibe. Because if you go and say like, hey, I'd like to do an interview, that's going to be creepy, right? I mean, like not for everybody, but for guys, I feel like that's a lot harder for guys. And for just people who don't know, like I'm a parent and I don't want someone randomly reaching out, So when you be honest and upfront. And personally, my little tip and trick, if you are getting into the industry, find your ideal clients, look into those schools, go to the geotags, find those clients, start interacting with them authentically to where they will follow you back and follow. Like if you message them on stories, like, oh my gosh, I love your outfit today. Or, oh my gosh, that was such a great game, yada, yada, yada. They will accept the friend request or accept the request for the message. And then you can message back and forth. So sorry, that was a long answer, but that's just a couple ideas on that base. And I hope that helps, Ed. Okay, Christine. And I'm not going to say last names, guys, because my last name's Zantopulos and no one can ever pronounce it. So I don't want to do that to you either. Okay, do you use your camera on just your phone for video or marketing? I use just my phone. Just my phone. All of my content, if you look on my social media, if you look at my reels, you'll see everything is on my phone. Look at my highlight reels, y'all. You can see all my stuff on my highlight reels and it's not great content. And the thing is, guys, it doesn't have to be great content. If you notice, look at all these girls and all the photos they show. And sometimes they might show a behind the scenes photo over the real photo because it's more aesthetically with their feed, right? It's getting my word out. They get to share all about me. I'm cool with that. So don't feel like it needs to be perfect because these girls are not striving for perfection. They're striving for real. So when you're putting stuff out into the world, think about that. And I believe that, yes, your feed should be aesthetically pleasing, but what you put on stories, what you put on TikTok, I believe more needs to gear towards being real and authentic in an everyday life versus being aesthetically pleasing because they like seeing that real and authentic. So I hope that helps, Christine. Sherry, when I post a session on Instagram or Facebook, I think I meant to say, or when I post the session on Instagram or Facebook, I find it hard what to write. Any suggestions or keep it simple? Yes. Okay. So one suggestion, after the session, get in your car, make a voice memo of the session. Anything that happened, events that happened, things you found funny, maybe things they talked about. And then you can use that and put it into the post. You could be like, oh my, like, here's a great example. Last year, we had a morning sunrise session, which I don't typically do. And we went into this field. It was gorgeous. And I was like, do you see something moving in there? There was a skunk. There was a skunk in the field. And we were like, ah, it was a baby skunk. It was so stinking cute. This year I had a mouse that I put on a hat because the senior was terrified of it. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's cute. I can do anything but spiders, y'all. And I put it out and I had a whole video, a reel just dedicated to that alone. Write those events down if you forget them. When you are in a feeling kind of mood, write down things that you want to share with them. I recommend a brain dump. Literally brain dump things that you are passionate about, stories you want to share, and then connect it into your posts. Sometimes it doesn't have to be about the session day. If you're reposting old content, you can share about, for me, if you look at my feed, you'll see a lot about self-love and self-care and embracing who you are, and it still be connected with their photos. It's okay to do that, but just pre-write content when you have juicy thoughts in your head so that you can implement it into your feed. So I hope that helps, Sherry. Okay. Ed, have you ever felt they feel taken away their paid time when capturing behind the scenes? No, no, because I have now done it for years, and these girls thrive off of those. They come in telling me how excited they're going to see the behind the scenes. They tell me, oh my gosh, my friends are keeping on your social media today to watch the behind the scenes of the session. They're looking forward to it because this is a part of how they connect as people. We go back to that basic point of who is your ideal client? And the client you're speaking to is Gen Z, and they connect through social media. So you are actually playing into what they love. Now, if it's a client that I know that's not on social media, because I do have that, I'm like, hey, do you want me to post this stuff? I will ask. Say, in which I always do. I always do ask, like, hey, you okay with being on social media? And they're like, yes, please. I can't wait, But some people don't, and that's totally okay. So it comes back to knowing your client, understanding your client to know what to post, right? Okay, I think it's Jolie. I hope I said that right. It's not Julie, it's Jolie. I'm hoping it's Jolie. Do you have an assistant, or do you do your own social media stuff during your session? I started off by doing it by myself. Then I have an assistant. I do have an assistant now, and basically I taught her the ropes of, this is a list of things I want. And then after the session, we would sit down and I'd say, okay, this is how I want it posted. And I would show them what I want. And after a couple sessions, I started letting them post during the session throughout. But you can do it on your own. I've also, like, my assistants are all college students, so they can't always make it. Sometimes I have to do it on my own, and that's totally fine. So I will let them know beforehand. I'm like, hey, I'm going to take something for social media real quick. I take it, put it back in my pocket, and keep going. And the reason I do that is that at the end, I will post them all at once, and I'm good to go. So, and it takes time. Don't kick yourself if you don't do that perfectly. So just a thought, just a reminder. Okay. What is an example of something you do to provide an astounding experience that they'll want to talk about? That's a great question, girl. A great example of this is if anybody hasn't read this book, The 5 Love Languages, implement 5 love languages into your business. Then you're going to hit at least one that they are very in touch with, that they're going to want to share about. Think about personal touches of how you can connect with your client. For me, like, I might get them their Starbucks that they like. In their questionnaire, I ask them questions about them. And when we are at the shoot, I get to know them by using those questions. Oh my gosh, so you want to go to this school? That's amazing. I have a friend that does that, and here's a little bit about that. That's so amazing. What made you want to do that? What makes you so interested in that field? They're getting excited because they're like, oh my gosh, she actually cares about me, not just the session itself. Something I do to provide an astounding experience, I hype my girls up. I am known to be the hype queen, okay, guys? And I can say anyone can do this. Anyone can hype these people up. You don't have to be me. You can say, oh my gosh, you look amazing. You're doing so great. You're giving them a good experience because you're making them feel good. Guys, an astounding experience doesn't mean that you need to be giving them, like, pulling out the red carpet. Think about experiences that bring people joy and just implement them into your business. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Think about key things that maybe hits those 5 love languages that you can implement, and just learn about your clients so you know how to make them happy. I hope that helps. And I'm getting hot, so I'm taking my jacket off, y'all. Okay. Let's see, where are we at? 151. Okay, we're doing good, guys. I knew I would be going crazy with the questions. So, okay. Do your clients find you more through the senior or their parents? They find me. I would say about 95% of my clients have found me through their friends' social media because of behind the scenes. They're like, I saw this behind the scenes and I thought it was amazing. When I started, fun tip, guys, when I started, I reached out to these people, did model calls, which I have a whole model call method on my shop, but And then what I would do is I would just reach out to their friends afterwards or connect with their friends or like their friend's account so they could see the content that I was creating for their friend and then say, oh, I have to ask her about that. I am so word of mouth heavy in my business, but I also cover a lot of different ranges of how do these seniors connect. And I try to infuse myself into those places. That way they're always seeing me. So, because seniors are the drivers of this business. Gen Z and their parents were in a place where they didn't get everything that they wanted when they were younger, and they want to give that to their kids, which is why it's so important to connect with the seniors first over the parents. So I hope that helps. What is the link to your TikTok videos? It's Elisabeth Ann Photo. So Elisabeth is with an S, because that, yeah, my name is spelled a little different. Elisabeth Ann Photo, you can look at it. All of my TikToks are what are on my reels right now. So if you look at my Instagram, you can see all my reels. And I have a crap ton of content that we're making in the off season for the new year. So if you keep up to date with that, you're going to see a lot of new stuff coming up. Okay. Oh, I went in the wrong order. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, here we go. How much artificial light to use? Even though I'm pretty fast with it, I feel like it messes with the flow and comfortability of the senior session. I do not. I use a reflector. Reflector is life in my business. I do use lighting if I do stuff in a studio, but I just personally move around so much because I want different scenes constantly that I just don't find it easy for me to carry all that stuff around. So I use a big reflector that's about like a little taller than me. I'm 5'6". It's about this high. I got it on Amazon. If you are curious about it, shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll send you the link. But yes, messes with the flow. I think that is also why I just don't want to have to worry about setting up. When I get these girls in their zone and confident, I want to focus on them. That's also why I eventually hired on an assistant. And guys, just a side tip to that, if you're worried and you want to hire someone on, you're like, I can't do that right now. Work with a college student, work with someone for free and say, hey, do you want to learn about photography? Has anybody ever reached out to you and said that? Instead of thinking about how can I do this or how can I pay for someone, think about the resources you currently have. You don't always have to do it the way that I do it or do it the way that, oh, well, this must be the only way. There's always a different way, guys. So reaching out on social media and just saying, hey guys, I'm looking for an assistant. If you're interested in learning about this, this is an unpaid position, but you will get to learn from me. Doing something and starting there, whatever, guys. But that's just my recommendation if you want to start down that way. And then if you want someone permanent that you know you're just a little more reliable, then you work into a paid position. So do you get a model release to share images from their parents or the senior? One of my biggest problems is getting them to sign a release. Yes, it's in my contract. I have a model release that's a part of my contract. I have maybe had in the 10 years I've been doing photography alone, I've probably had maybe 5 people that said they didn't want that. I think that because I work with seniors and they have connected with me through social media, they like being on social media. They want me to share their stuff. Therefore, I'm posting that stuff online. And they're okay with me posting that stuff online. And the instances that was not the case, a rare case, it was usually when the parent reached out to me or it was they are not on social media. One or the other. So I don't typically have that issue. What I would do to approach that situation when you reach out to them and when they connect with you, say, my clients typically do A, B, and C because this is the reward. And the reward is I'm sharing your images on social media. You get to see the behind the scenes. And basically I'm like, when I'm explaining my contract to clients, I'm like, and this is in my contract and then the model release so that I can post your gorgeous face online, which I know you want, blah, 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 blah. That's basically how when you say that other clients like this, where I recommend this, it kind of just flows as, oh, this is what is usual. This is expected. So I hope that answers your question, Sharon. Okay. Alyssa. Okay. How did you successfully transition from weddings to seniors? If a previous senior comes back for a family down the road or a wedding, would you consider it? That's a great question. Okay, so I transitioned from weddings to seniors gradually. I started, I was working as an associate photographer for a while, and then I started my own business as a wedding photographer. Then I started implementing seniors, and I did kind of a half and half. I'm going to say this is my answer on this. Everybody's different on how they approach this. I decided to move out of weddings because I realized my heart was truly with seniors, but I still love connection. I still love interaction. I'm teaching at a conference in June that's specifically a wedding conference. Like, I love communication and connection with people. So I love weddings. So if one of my clients came back, because I'm very close with my girl, I'd be like, yes, a photograph wedding. Yes, I have to. But I do not share it all over social media. I'll share, be like, oh my gosh, look at my past client. She just got married and I don't do weddings, but look, share something like that. And if you want to transition to that, tip one, show less weddings, show more seniors. Whatever paying you the most, if you're trying to transition to this, you're going to slowly work your way on your feed. We're going to have more seniors than weddings, and you gradually fade out. I got to a point where I was doing 10 weddings a year, then 5 weddings a year. Last year, because of COVID and everything, I said I was going to do a wedding for a friend, and then COVID happened, so I ended up doing 1 wedding. So if it's a close client, I will. Otherwise, I say no. And it's so empowering to tell someone no when you know where your heart is, because I love working with seniors. I absolutely love it. It's what I'm good at. And when I move away from weddings and I don't do it every day, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my clients, because they can work with someone that specializes in that field. So I always will be transparent with people. And this is also a great way to communicate with your fellow photographers in the area. Community over competition, which I know sometimes that's hard in people's areas. I get it. But find those people you can connect with and that you can swap people with. Find a wedding photographer that really doesn't want to do seniors, and vice versa. And say, hey, I have a great photographer that has a style and you know will take care of them. Send them that way, and vice versa. It's another way to bring in leads, guys. So I hope that helped with that question, Alyssa. Is there any other questions, guys, before we wrap up? I am so proud of myself. I stayed under an hour. I'm usually really bad about that, so yay. I hope this was very helpful for you guys. I hope that you guys gained some knowledge from it. If you have any questions, obviously this is an hour. I do like 6 months of talking about all this kind of stuff. So if I missed something you want to talk about it, please reach out to me on Instagram. Go ahead, Karen.
No, I was just coming to help you wrap up. I was going to ask you if you could share your Instagram again, your contact page. Yeah. Is it easy for you to share that again?
Yeah, I can do that. I'm going to do it in the chat box because I was.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so that'd be great.
I will share my Instagram in the chat box, guys. So if you want to go to it, please feel free. And then I'm going to be putting a code later today in my link in my bio for 20% off anything in my shop. So feel free if you want to browse that or ask questions. Let me know, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's very generous.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So you guys, I a while ago was thinking about getting into senior photography. So I joined the Senior Style Guide Facebook group, and I just happened upon Liz's photos in there one day. She had posted something and I was like, I wonder if she uses shoot proof. And sure enough, she did. So that's how today came to be. And I think it was just awesome. I really appreciate you coming and talking to us and spending so much time. I know you took some time to prepare these slides, and you're so busy and you took time out of your day today. So we really appreciate it. We appreciate the code for your shop. That's awesome as well. And let's see, what else did I want to tell everybody? You will get a replay in your mailbox, everybody who has registered. So if you missed the beginning or you had to drop off in the middle for a section, you will be getting a replay at the end. And then you're also going to be getting a survey in a couple of hours. It's going to ask you a really important question, which is, what other kinds of content do you want to hear? And if you have ideas for maybe friends or colleagues that you have that are photographers who do something that you really admire, or if you yourself have something special that you do or feel that you excel at in your business, let us know, because I love bringing fellow photographers in to speak, because everyone has such different ideas for how to run their businesses. And as Liz was talking about community over competition, we are all one big community, and this is just one way to bring everybody together. So nominate somebody, nominate yourself. I will be looking at the survey results as they come in, and we're usually doing these webinars on Thursday. So it's really weird for me to be saying have a great week because I'm usually getting ready for the weekend. But I hope everybody has a great week. And thank you again, Liz. It was such a pleasure to have you today. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much for having me on. I love you guys. I love Shoeproof, and it's been great just talking with you, Karen. It's such a wonderful company. So they didn't tell me to say that. I'm just throwing that out there because I've had Shoeproof from the very beginning, and it's just been amazing. So I appreciate you guys.
That's great. I love to hear that. We appreciate you too. And everybody in the chat too. Everyone who's attending. Just about everybody on here is probably either a Shootproof user or has looked at Shootproof at some point. So we appreciate you all for being here. All right. Well, happy Monday. We can soon start wrapping up our day, I hope, and have a great rest of your week, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.